students, welcome back to another exciting episode of Piano Lessons on the Web. Actually, just saying that for fun. Welcome out back to our classroom, everybody. So excited to be here tonight to teach you all about why you should be learning Bach. We're going to get to that in a minute. I just kind of want to make sure we got everything set up all right. I want to say hello to some new and returning students. We got Barbara Farron back again. Randy Gardner, of course, is here, ready to learn. We got Adria's here and ready, and we got Gary Cook. Howdy, folks. Howdy, Gary. How you doing today? All right. Hopefully everybody is having a great evening. I know I'm doing pretty well. I had a nap today. I slept pretty well. I needed to catch up on sleep because ever since I moved here, I've had trouble just getting really good rest. Not just because I think I'm in someplace new. I don't know if anybody else experiences anything like that. I know I'm pretty off the wall. Okay. Hello, we got David here. Hello, David. David Mastrude. Welcome out, David. If it's your first time, welcome. Anybody else, if it's your first time, please say hello if you want to. I always love to see new students coming into our classroom. All right, and then if you are new here, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications because you want to know when we, meet live or when I put out a new video. And we meet every other Fridays and Sundays. It's every other week, Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to meet again on Sunday, same time, and then we'll meet again like 2 weeks after that. If you want to check out the calendar of when we meet, like if you want to attend on a regular basis, I highly recommend you do this. So if you head over to my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, and you click on community and you fill out this little form, you're going to get an email reminder 30 minutes before we meet. And then we've got the calendar of what we're talking about. Sunday, we're talking about common chord patterns used in pop music. Okay. Looks like everything's pretty much set, so I'm going to get into the lesson here. And, hey, Raymond's here. We got Benjamin here. I believe you guys are all new. Denise Brown. Welcome out, Denise. I believe you are new here, or newish as well. So welcome out, everybody, to our classroom. We're going to get started here in just a second. Let me just kind of get my notes up on the screen. Luckily, this time the file did not corrupt, so I do have the notes to read off of. All right, then I'll do the intro here and we'll get right on into it. Let me start the Facebook stream. Sorry about that. This should take less than a minute here. I do want to get our folks over on Facebook in with us. So let me do this. So in the meantime, just feel free to say hello in the chat, and then once I get through part of the lesson, I'll go through and say hi to everybody. All right, I'm almost there. Should be good to go. All right, welcome students, Outdoor Classroom Piano Lessons on the Web. This class is all about teaching you piano and music, giving you the strategies to succeed, whether you're just starting out as a beginner or you're looking to advance your skills and you need those juicy tips. So make sure if you're on Facebook to like our page and subscribe if you're over on YouTube and turn on that notification bell. All right, we're going to get right on into it. Let me do my intro here, the intro into the formal lesson, and then we'll get right onto it. My piano teacher in college used to always make me learn pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach, and I was just crying about it because he was just making me play so many, but there was actually a good reason behind it, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Bach is really helpful in developing your piano technique, and the first reason why is that Bach uses something called counterpoint, which is multiple lines of melody going on at once. So it's going to give you a lot to focus on. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. Wait a second, guys. Let me get up. I had it up earlier. Let me type in Bach conventions here. All right, just give me a second. Oh, here we go. It's already up. Perfect. Perfect. Love when things actually go according to plan. Okay, so this is a two-part invention, just meaning that there's really two lines of melody going on at once. And as you can see, you start out here. Let me get my headphones on. Start out here with a melodic line here in the right hand. And then, while you're actually playing part of that, you come in with your left hand and play a similar melodic line, almost sort of like a canon, like you would sing around in Row, Row, Row Your Boat. A little bit different, though. So just like that, as you can see, there's a lot more to focus on between the two. So if you're a very beginner, you're probably not going to want to tackle something like this. But if you've been playing for a few weeks, a few months, depending on how fast you learn, you're going to want to start learning pieces like this because it's really going to challenge you to really be focusing on those different lines of melody. Okay. The second big reason is that learning pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach is really, really good practice for your scales and your chords. So from the example I just played, as you can see, there's sections of scales going on. Now, they're not exactly like all right in a row, but it really helps to know the scale when you're playing these. And this one actually, there's even better examples of Bach pieces that use just pretty much straight scales the entire time. There's some preludes that use a lot of scales. Actually, a lot of his pieces. Scales, chords, and all that stuff in arpeggio. So, like I always say, that they will always come in handy. Spending your time to learn those things, scales, arpeggios, chords, will really, really come in handy no matter what type of music you're going to play. All right. Pieces, I'm not going to start it out again like that. Another great reason you should learn these pieces are they have a great use of articulations. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, an articulation actually tells you how to play the note. So, for instance, you have your staccatos, you're going to play the note, real short. You're going to have legatos where you play them smoothly connected. You're going to have accents where you hit those notes a little bit harder. And those things are actually what really brings out the music part in music. So if you just have, say, a computer play the melody and the harmony, like just play all the notes exactly in time, it sounds okay, but you're going to notice it sounds really flat. There's a big difference between listening to a professional pianist play a piece and then listening to a robot play a piece, or somebody who's just playing the notes straight through, and the articulations are really what makes that possible. All right, let me show you what I mean, of course. This one does not have any written in. Let me see if I can find some written in, because sometimes in Bach, they don't have them in. So I don't know if there's a great example here or not, to tell you the truth. Yeah, there's some in this fugue here, but I'm not going to try to play that. Oh, here you go. All right. Oh, let me show you what I'm doing. That would help. Okay, so here we have the prelude in C minor from the Well-Tempered Clavier. And if you notice the first beat of, or actually the first and third beat of each measure is accented. And that just gives it a little bit, first of all, it kind of helps the piece move forward. Obviously, when you play at full speed, it sounds even better. I didn't practice this one ahead of time, just showing you. But as you can see, they have these little details written in that you have to pay attention to. The sforzando is where you're going to hit the notes louder and then get softer right away. And then, of course, the dynamics, which we'll talk about here in a second. Actually, I guess we can talk about it right now because I don't have it listed here. Okay. And then, of course, it's also a great practice for dynamics because you're going from piano to forte back to piano. So there's a lot more things that you can start paying attention to in your music. And practicing Bach is a great way to get involved in that. A great one that, actually, we're going to talk about that later. So we'll save that for a second. Learning Bach pieces is also a great way to practice phrasing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, phrasing in music is usually designated by the slur lines, meaning that you're going to connect the notes together to make complete musical ideas. Without that, it just sounds like a bunch of notes. It's kind of like articulations, where it gives you a little bit more information for the brain to digest rather than just straight notes. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. Here we go. Okay, so here we have the Minuet in G, and this actually isn't even a Bach piece. This is by somebody named Petzold, I believe. For a long time, it was believed to be by Bach, but it's in the style of Bach, so I still count it as a piece, a Johann Sebastian Bach piece, because I think it was actually meant to mimic his style. But anyway, not in this version, but a lot of the versions, they have, this first note and then these slurred and then staccato, just to kind of give it a little bit more flair. Now play it without any of the slurs or anything. It still sounded okay, but it just didn't really have a lot of character. I think character is actually the word I was kind of trying to think of a minute ago. That all these things help add character to the music rather than just hearing notes. All right, let me take a look at the chat really quick, only because I want to know if everything is all good. All right. Hello, everybody. All right, it looks like we're all good, because I want to check every once in a while to make sure people aren't like, oh, I can't hear you, or everything's messed up. Okay, good. So everything seems to be all right. Okay. And then I'll say hi to everybody once we're done. We're going to keep going here. Okay. Another great reason you should learn these pieces is that they will force you to use proper finger technique. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, obviously, using scales is the simplest example. To be able to play a scale up and down the keyboard effectively, you have to use proper fingering, which is just the right notes with the right finger at the right time, using the right finger crosses and things like that. Now, obviously, before you start tackling these pieces, you're probably going to want to learn the the scales first, just to kind of get used to those, because like I said, they're going to appear in these Bach pieces a lot. All right, let me show you. All right, everybody, just give me a second here. No, I don't want to do that one. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out which Bach piece would be good to show you guys exactly what's going on. Yeah, this one's fine. Okay. Okay, so here we're back at the two-part invention in C major. And now, obviously, if I just use any fingering... Oops. Actually, you know what? I'm automatically shifting back to the real fingering because I actually learned this a while ago, and I think my brain is accustomed to it. But if say I just start on a different finger, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I don't have enough fingers to complete this musical idea. Well, that's a problem, right? So luckily for this version, they write in the fingering for you, which makes it easy, but not all of them do. So like I said, when they don't write in the fingering, you kind of want to use whatever they would use for the scale, but when they give you the fingering, use the correct fingering that they give you. And that just helps you play the notes a lot smoother, and that will also help you from running, what I call running out of fingers, which is something you almost never want to do. That's like, obviously, if I start on finger 3 here, and then I have to like kind of jump up and down the keyboard to do that. Don't do that. Now, think about why that might not be a good idea. So like, just say if I used really bad fingering. First of all, I'm missing notes. See how I was jumping my hand a lot there because I wasn't using the right fingering? It just made it sound really choppy. You could really hear the difference there. Or like that. I had to make those notes staccato to make that work. So using the proper fingering is the way you do that. And these pieces are a great way to do that. Now, one tip I have for you in terms of that is to actually, especially if they don't write in the fingering, but in places, say you're playing it and you're running out of fingers, right? Or it just sounds bad, or you're having trouble playing it fluidly. You're going to actually want to go through the music and with a pen, or I do it digitally, write in the fingering that works best for you. Now you're going to have to go through some of these sections over and over again to kind of determine what works best for you. And then asking a teacher is probably the best way, because they'll look over it and they'll be like, oh, you know what, I would use this finger here. And that's what always used to happen to me in college. I'd write in my fingering, and my teacher, Dr. Craig, would look over and say, use this instead. And I'd be like, really? That seems like it would be really weird and hard. But it worked. Experience is really everything when it comes to learning music. And as you learn more and more pieces, you're just going to get these like kind of ideas in your head about like, oh yeah, I used this in this one piece. It worked well here. I'm going to apply it to this other piece. So these Bach pieces are a great way to start developing that wisdom that you can apply to other music. Okay. There are 3 pieces I recommend you start out with when learning Johann Sebastian Bach. The first one I recommend you learn, the very first one, is the Prelude in C major from the Well-Tempered Clavier. And there's good reason why. Let me show you. Lots of showing in this lesson, but which is good. That's a good thing. Almost there. Now, you guys, if you've been following me a long time, you know exactly what this one is, but, some of us might not know. Okay, the reason I want you to learn this one first is that it's, first of all, very easy. Like, the rhythm, it looks strange, but all you really need to know is that you're hitting these bottom 2 notes with your left hand, and then you're hitting the rest of the notes with your right hand. So even though it looks strange at first, it's really simple as far as the patterns and the rhythms. And it's kind of repetitive, but in a good way, because it only changes a little bit between measure to measure. So you're probably going to be able to learn this one relatively quickly. But what that means is once you are done learning it all, it's a great piece to go through and work out your dynamics. So as you can see, like further on down the piece, you have, pianissimo, and then it'll get louder at some point to piano, back to pianissimo. So you have this section here. You can see it, where it's piano, still piano, and then all of a sudden down here, you're going to have to get really soft as you can, right? And then right here on the next measure already, you're going to be getting louder. So it's really good practice because the notes are simple, and that's going to allow you to focus better in on those dynamics. All right, let me talk about the next piece that I want you to learn by Bach, of course. The second piece, we've already seen it today, is the Minuet in G. Let me just kind of quickly walk through why I think you should learn that one right after the Well-Tempered Clavier. The Prelude in C. Sorry. Here we go. Not that one. Okay, so we're back here at the Minuet in G, and like I said, this one's really by a guy named, I forget what his first name is, but it's Petzold, P-E-T-Z-O-L-D, and you can find these are all public domain, I believe. So if you type on Google, and you type in, Prelude, or Minuet in G, actually, if you type it in by Bach, it'll probably come up. This is like the most famous one, or Petzold. All right, so here we go. So this one is great because it has a little bit more going on than the Prelude in C. However, it's not punishing, right? You don't have a ton of like different melody lines going on. It's really just chords and melody. Oops. Sorry, let me start again. See, it's really not that bad. Okay, I think there's one more piece I want to tell you guys about. Oh, here you go. Let me get this up. The next is Invention number 1 in C major by Johann Sebastian Bach, of course. Now this one is as part of a collection called Two-Part Inventions. So if you type in Bach Two-Part Inventions into Google, you'll be able to find this because this is public domain as well. I'm going to try my best to get you guys links to these. I find that some of these websites block the links though. That's why I don't always include them. That's why I kind of just point you into the right direction on how to find them. But this one's great because this one is like just a step above that Minuet in G, I feel, where it does have more going on, but it's also not super crazy. And then so on and so forth through the whole thing. I think you get the idea just by looking at it. Now, like I said, if you're a very beginner, you're probably not going to tackle something like this, but you're going to work your way up to it and go from there. Okay, let me say hi to everybody in the chat really quick. And then we're going to go here from there. Yeah, Barbara, those two are from every other version I've seen except for this one that we looked at. Yeah, I play those with my left hand. Let me get that up for you to show you what I mean. Barbara is talking about the Well-Tempered Clavier, this one. See actually how on this page, let me show you what I'm looking at. See how on this page they actually are both written on the bass clef. Now it is possible to have notes written on the treble clef that are supposed to be played with the left hand, but how would you know that, right? Like, how would you ever know that? Well, there's a little trick I have for you. Do you see how this first note, first of all, you have the C with your left hand, right? That makes sense. That's pretty obvious. That's down in the bass clef. But you see how this E right here, that the stem is actually pointing down and the others are pointing up? Usually, when you have that, that indicates that even though that's written up on the treble clef, you're actually going to play with the left hand. I know it's a little confusing, but hey, it's music. That's what music is. Confusing. But I'm here to that's why we're here. I'm here to help. All right, let's say hi to some people, and then I'm going to keep going here because I do have a little bit more. Okay. Welcome. Hey, Fireflower's back out with us. We got Chrissy back once again. How you doing, Chrissy? Truman Fink, of course. Adria. All right, Avi says, hey, awesome setup. Thank you so much, Avi. I appreciate that. Truman says Tim is a good teacher. Thank you, Truman. Truman speaks the truth. We got Karen here. We got Varda again. Or Varda, I believe, is actually your first time here. And we got Narudin. Oh my God, I just type on Google why I should learn Bach and YouTube Live pop up. Oh, okay, awesome. So you happen to actually search like at the exact time that we are meeting today. So welcome out and subscribe, because you probably don't know about my channel yet. You might. But yeah, we're all about learning piano here. We come together every other week or so live, Fridays, Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me point you guys to my website real quick, because my website, by the way, it's the name of the channel, pianolessonsontheweb.com. And you can look at my courses, which I'll talk about in a second. But what I really want to tell you right now is go to the community page here, scroll down, fill out this form, and you're going to get an email reminder 30 minutes before we meet. And then if you scroll down some more, here's the calendar of what we're meeting and when. I'm going to be filling out this calendar for the rest of the month of November here in the next couple of days. So make sure to check back on that. Hey, Carol Christensen is here. Welcome out, Carol. So happy you could join us. Where we can get sheet music for these songs, Denise asked. So I did mention that here just a few minutes ago. You probably asked that before. IMSLP.org is great for what Fireflower said. So go to that website and you can search. That's actually where I got all of these. I noticed that when you search Google, usually IMSLP.org pops up first. Yeah, working late, but here, missed a few. That's okay, Carol. I'm glad you came back, though. I'm sure Rich is busy getting ready for his wedding. Let's see. Bach says, Sean, I agree. Denise says, thanks. Bottom two notes with the left hand. Okay, I read that one. It seems like playing now, your fingers know where to go when you're playing chords. Yeah, so as you get more and more experience playing, it gets your fingers just a lot of times will just fall into place, like in Chopin pieces. That would be easier than holding down the note on the bottom with the upper staff while playing the upper notes. Yep. Great course. Glad I can make it for the live stream. Well, thank you very much, Sean. And we're still I still have some other points to make. We're through the big chunk of the lesson, but I just wanted to talk to some people here. I mean, with the right hand. Oh, okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that would definitely be a problem. Oh yeah, that like destroys my hand doing that. It actually hurts. Okay, let's continue, guys and gals. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Okay. Okay, and if you're looking to learn more pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach, or you want to learn the pieces we talked about today, but you want to actually learn them, get videos on how to play them, get some background into Bach and some other great composers, over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, I have courses that can help you do just that. So let me show you the courses that I have to offer that will actually get you playing into Bach. So you can check out any of these courses. These are for beginners here. So if you want a really solid foundation on the beginner topics, you can check out a course like Intro to Piano and Music, and you can read the course description and all that. In that course, you're going to be playing like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and things like that. But most relevant to today is if you go to Playing the Piano Levels 3 and Levels 4, and actually Level 5, I recommend those three. Specifically, Level 4, I believe, tackles the composers. I talk a little bit about their life, their playing styles. We learn some scales, obviously, so you're going to be learning some other things as well. Actually, no. We learn the scales in the other course, Playing the Piano Level 3. But as you can see, there's 5 units here. Unit 1, you're going to learn about Bach. Unit 2, Mozart. So if you're interested in Beethoven, Chopin, Debussy, as you can see, if you're interested in learning pieces by these composers, which is really going to help make you a well-rounded musician, then I highly recommend you check out this Playing the Piano Level 4. Playing the Piano Level 5 just builds on that some more. So if you're looking, if say you're like an intermediate student and you really want to start refining your technique, start learning real piano pieces, that's where you want to start. But there's a lot of other courses on the website. Um, and actually, what I recommend you do over on the Buy Courses page, you can get course packs where you can actually get a collection of courses together for a great price. And it actually also helps you learn everything in like one pack that's going to help you. Like, so say you're a beginner, right? And you're just starting out and you want a really solid foundation. Well, this is 4 courses basically for the price of one. I think the courses right now are $24.99 individually. This is $29.99 for 4 courses. So you can do the math on that. Introduction to Piano Music, Learn to Read Music, Playing the Piano Level 1, and Music Theory Level 1. A great foundation. But if you go to the intermediate pack, as you can see, it costs a little bit more, but it also includes a lot more courses. You know, Piano 2 and 3, intermediate. And you can click on any of these, and it'll take you to the course description page, so you can see exactly what each of those courses covers in case you are confused. And then the courses I mentioned are actually in the more advanced pack. So let's go to the Buy Courses here. So if you check out the advanced pack, there's even more here, those 2 courses I mentioned. And then there's like a lot of music theory and composition and things like that. So if you like what you see over here on the channel and you thought today's lesson was valuable, you really, really want to go there to my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, because my courses will really not only help you get a solid foundation if you're a beginner, but will also help you get the strategies, the pieces you need to practice, and everything else you need to really take your playing and music understanding to that next level. And of course, you can sign up for courses individually too. You just go to the Buy Courses page, scroll down, and then you can click on whatever course you want right there. And then, of course, there is a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you request a full refund within 30 days of your purchase, say, you know, you look at it and it's just not for you, then you just email me and I'll refund your money 100%. All right, let's check out to see what some people here in the chat are saying. Okay, what about learning Mozart? Same kind of thing. So that would be like a whole different lesson, Ken. You know what? I'm probably going to make like a Learn Mozart thing. Those are included in the course I mentioned, Playing the Piano Level 4 over on my website. But I probably will do a lesson similar to this one on the YouTube channel at one point, just talking about the benefits of learning Mozart. Because there are benefits. I mean, a lot of them are crossed over with Bach. You'll find that Mozart is kind of a mix between Bach and Beethoven, and it makes sense because that's how they came chronologically in the timeline. You know, Bach came and then Mozart, and then, you know, quickly after that was Beethoven. So you're going to see similarities between all 3, but Mozart is a great way, I think, to bridge between playing Bach and playing Beethoven. Which book of Bach should I buy for the beginner or intermediate? Book of Bach. What I would get, honestly, is I would get 3 books. Or 2 books. I can tell you right off the bat. Let's do a search here, everybody. What I would look for first is something called the Well-Tempered Clavier. And now you can buy this. You can buy it on Amazon, so just look it up. This is actually how you spell it, Well-Tempered, Clavier. But if you type in IMSLP after that, it will, now sometimes it's called Das Tempe. It's in German, so just be prepared for that. And then if you scroll down a while, it should say complete score. You're going to want to avoid scores like this. This is like more like the original manuscript. As you can see, it looks terrible. You want to scroll down until you see one that looks more like the sheet music you're used to. Now, I don't know. Yeah. So, okay, so you have like the preludes and fugues here you can get. So you might have to scroll down a while to find a good version that's nice and clean looking and not like it was handwritten. The other one I suggest you look at, go to imslp.org, by the way, for these. Type in inventions, Bach inventions. So all the ones I mentioned today, look these up. Here you go. And then scroll down until you find a good PDF to go from. Like this one looks pretty decent. As you can see, it's readable. Looks pretty nice. And they do make you wait 15 seconds or whatever to download. But, you know, it's free. And you can find those on all on Amazon as well. So the two, Well-Tempered Clavier. And then the second one you really want to get is the collection of Bach inventions for two hands. I think one of my favorites is definitely Beethoven. Raymond says, I play gospel, pop, and R&B. Is this course for me? Probably not, if that's all you're interested in. But to tell you the truth, you should be learning things outside of those. Learning classical will help you learn literally every other type of music. Every other type of music compared to classical. I'm really trying to think if there's any exceptions. I don't think there are. Jazz is like a different kind of beast. But learning classical will even help you learn jazz later on. Learning classical, everything else compared to classical for the most part is easier. So once you learn classical, it's like, okay, if I'm going to learn pop music a lot of times is just chords in your left hand, melody in your right hand, and it's pretty simple, like pretty simple chords, pretty simple melody. So you really, if you don't want to learn classical at all, I would say no, that course isn't for you. But I really, really would consider learning pieces by classical composers because it will really only help you, I promise. All right, everybody. We're going to continue here. Let me see what else I have to say. Okay, a number of things that you definitely want to keep in mind that you want. Now, let me think about that again. The most important things you want to remember from this lesson is that learning Bach is going to help your piano technique. Well, duh. Well, how is it going to help, right? It's going to give you practice playing counterpoint, which is multiple lines of melody going on at once. That's going to really help you, really help train you looking at more things going on and be able to process more notes and different lines of melody. It's great for practicing dynamics, which is soft and loud at certain times. Articulations, which is how to play the note, whether you're playing notes short or you're playing them longly connected or maybe even hitting them accented. It's great for using proper phrasing, which is making complete music ideas to make your music sound better. It's also great for implementing proper finger technique. And once you learn Bach pieces with the right finger technique, a lot of other pieces will be easier, not all of them, but a lot of them will be easier in comparison because a lot of that knowledge of the proper fingering, when to use what fingers and where, that all can be applied to different styles, genres, and composers. So where do I want you to go from here? Well, if you haven't already, learn those three pieces I gave you, and that's a great way to start on Bach. There are a lot of Bach pieces that are extremely difficult, but the three I gave you, if you have been learning piano for a little while, maybe a couple of months, you should be able to at least play the the Prelude in C major from the Well-Tempered Clavier. All right, let me give you a link, everybody, a link to my website. So remember, go to my website if you are interested in courses. Like I mentioned, if you like what you see over here on the YouTube channel, you're really, really going to love the courses because it's everything you love about the YouTube channel. Plus, one thing I actually forgot to mention when I was telling you about it, not only do you get instructional videos, but you get real sheet music to play, you get assignments, you get worksheets, you get printable notes. You get anything you would expect really in like a college course or a course that really makes it a complete learning experience, whereas just on YouTube, it's usually just a video. I might give you something to practice, but it's not really fleshed out and doesn't really dive deep into each topic. I like books because the PC makes my head hurt. Okay, that's definitely understandable. Thanks for the advice. My favorite composer are Bach, Handel, and Chopin. Yeah, I like Handel as well, for sure. And those others. Chopin. Chopin's great, too. I love Chopin Nocturnes. I haven't played that one in forever. I'm not going to try. Okay, what was I going to tell you guys? Oh, yeah, we're definitely meeting again Sunday, same time we're meeting tonight. It's going to be a totally different kind of lesson. I mean, compared to today where it was all classical. Sunday's lesson is all about talking about common chord patterns that you're going to find in pop music. Because pop music like 90% of the songs use the same chord patterns. As you've seen probably from, what is it, the Axis of Chords or something like that. Somebody's going to remind me in the comments. They did a video. The Axis of Awesome, I think they're called. AXIS of Awesome. I think they're either a YouTube channel or they're a group. And they made a great lesson about like how many pop songs use the exact same chord progression. And it's a ton. But not only am I going to talk about the most common chord progression, I'm going to also talk about a few others that I really think you should learn because they'll really help you learn a lot of these other pieces as you come across them. All right, and if you like today's lesson, feel free to leave a super chat. You don't have to, but it is a great way to support the channel. And then, of course, purchasing courses is a great way to both invest in your piano education and the channel as well. You explain things very well. Thanks. Great lesson. Thank you very much, Chrissy. I appreciate that for sure. And then, yeah, so Sean, if you want to actually find the books, I recommend Amazon. I know not everybody lives in a country where Amazon is the most convenient, but, you know, here in the States and I think a lot of other countries, Amazon's probably the way to go. So just type in Well-Tempered Clavier, and a lot of the editions are pretty good, to be honest. Okay, yeah, La Campanella by Liszt. Liszt is very difficult to play. I probably won't talk about playing Liszt here on the channel a whole lot because I feel like it's way beyond what the target student audience is going to want. There are other piano channels on YouTube for that are more for like advanced students who already know a lot about piano already, and they're just looking for like really hard pieces to play or you know, insights on really difficult composers. We're more for the beginner, like I said, you know, whether you're just starting out as a beginner or you have been playing for a while and you want strategies on how to get better. That's really our focus here. We're not like going for the top of people who are going to play in, you know, or concert level pianists or anything like that. Okay, Sean says, I also bought your intermediate course. Yes, thank you for that. Really recommend, by the way. Thank you so much, Sean. He's talking about over on my website. I have a private teacher also, which is excellent. That's awesome that you have a private lesson teacher as well. That's really, really going to help you out. Truman says, great lesson, Tim. Good job. Thank you very much. Adria says, I always thought Chopin was pronounced Chopin, not Chopin. Yeah. Thanks for you two for making me feel dumb. That's okay. People call him Chopin a lot, which might be what you're going for, Chopin. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that. But hey, you know, I don't think I know how to pronounce his name either for a long time. All right, any other comments or questions? Did I miss any questions? Sometimes I do. Because we have a wonderful, thriving class here of aspiring students here. Remember, guys, to subscribe and hit that bell notification. If you're subscribed already, hit the bell notification. It is... they don't show it because I'm the owner of my own channel, so the button doesn't appear. But you probably... right next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell. Hit that and select Get All Notifications. Chopin. Yeah, I've heard it pronounced Chopin, Chopin. Some people are really picky on how to pronounce certain things. Me, if it's like close, it's fine. If it's really off, I'll be like, I don't know. That kind of bothers me. But all right, guys and gals, if there are no other questions, I might conclude it. Let me look over my notes, make sure I don't have anything else to say. I know I do have like an outro to do to send you off to the right place after this lesson. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to do an outro here. Let me know any last minute questions you may have. We're going to be meeting again on Sunday, same time. Please come out. I would love, love, love to see you all there. And we'll go from there. What will you do in the future like a very hard... Will you do in the future like a very hard pieces? No, no. Not on the channel. Now on the website, I would like to make some more piano courses. I just haven't had the time, as a lot of you have followed me. There's been a lot of personal things that have happened in my life, but then I moved, and then that was like a big thing. Now I'm just kind of getting back into the flow of things. But to the point I want to make is that I will be making some courses over on the website that are more advanced than the pianos level 4 and 5 that do, maybe cover some more Chopin pieces, list and things like that. But I really need more and more time to practice because I have been getting back into my practice routine recently, but I still need to have time to practice those pieces, because if I'm going to teach a course about them, I need to at least be able to play part of the piece for you so you get an idea on how to do that. So yeah, that's really what the website will be more for the more advanced stuff. But here on the channel, I'm going to keep it relatively simple. What format do the lessons come? So I assume, Gene asked this, I'm assuming you're talking about the courses. I can show you exactly what that's about. Actually, let me, give me a second. And I'm going to talk about the courses here a little bit. I'm going to show you an inside look on these courses. But I want to log in first. I don't want to show you all that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you playing the piano level 3, one of the courses I mentioned tonight. So I'm going to actually enter the course. So once you sign up, I'll send you the login information once I set up your student account. There we go. Okay, I'm logged into the course Playing the Piano Level 3. And there are generally 5 units per course. Some of them have 4, some of them have 6. I'd say on average 5. Pretty safe number. And each unit has the following. Each unit has like some practice suggestions on how to practice through the unit. But more importantly, they have a concepts video where basically it's a video like what we're doing now. Now it's like in an older style, but it's still just as effective, I think, where I go through and teach you the concepts for that unit. There's a PowerPoint you can download to follow along with it, and those are your notes basically for the lesson, for the unit. Now, further down on the unit, there are playing examples for you to practice. Sometimes in this particular course, there's scales, but in other courses, there are different, basically, things you should be practicing that will help advance your technique and so forth. So as you can see, there's a lot of them in this course. And then there's songs to practice. So, and they're usually real songs. Like this one just says C major song, but we're going to look at another unit here in a minute, and I'll show you what I mean. Assignments, and then there's usually like an assignment after that for a lot of these courses. So you can expect the following: a concepts video, a playing exercises video along with, the actual sheet music to follow along with, to practice with rather, and then a song to play and an assignment. So you go through Unit 1, you practice everything for a couple of weeks depending on what the practice suggestions say. Then you move on to Unit 2. and you repeat the same thing. So you go down here, you got your concepts video, and then you got your PowerPoint to follow along with. You have your playing examples video along with accompanying sheet music or sheets to follow along with. And then you have a real song to play. This time it is Sonata Opus 48 number 2. I believe that's a Mozart one. It's been a while since I made that. I know the video will tell you there. And then Unit 3, same thing. You know, you got your practice suggestions. You got your concepts video along with the PowerPoint. You have your playing examples with everything else. So as you can see, each unit's pretty much the same, but with different content. So you're getting a great mixture of video content along with assignments and other things to practice and songs to practice to really, really not only just learn each topic, but practice it and master it as well. Here on the channel, it's all about just learning the topics, and then the practicing is really up to you. You find something to practice. But this actually is really, really good and structured because you're going to learn a topic. You're going to practice exercises related to that topic. Then you're going to play a song related to that topic. So it's really, really going to help reinforce all of these ideas. So there's an inside look for you. John Philip Sousa, U.S. composer, may not be classical. Yeah, I wouldn't consider him classical. I would say that he's a I don't even know how to put that. He's there's a good word for them. I forget what it's called. Yeah, an American something composer. I'm going to remember as soon as we get off the live stream. That's always how it works. I'm never going to get the level where I play a Liszt piece like it's nothing. Listening to pieces like that inspired me, yeah. But that's all right, Fireflower. You know, you just take it one thing at a time. And like Sean says, never say never, because you never really know. You never know. But yeah, you know, you might need to work your way up to that, or you might want to just maybe try learning a piece of one of those pieces and see how that goes. Barbara says, next month it would be nice to see you be able to play a few Christmas carols like it's nothing by next month. I could do that. Actually, that's a great idea for December, right? How to learn Christmas carols. You know, tips for learning Christmas carols. I'm going to write this down. Tips for learning Christmas carols. Let me get the ideas list, because as you guys know, I write all this stuff down when you guys give me topics to do. And if they're really good, which I think this one is, especially for December, I do it. I make a lesson on it. Where is it? Okay, hold on, guys. Here we go. Okay. Okay, getting this written down. Okay, now how do I phrase this? Is it not letting me edit? What's going on here? Selection is locked. Why is it locked? What? What's going on here? What is happening? Weird. Alright, it's not letting me enter anything in here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the document, and then right here I'm just going to write, weird, it's not letting me write on this either. Alright, I'm going to have to figure this out, but let me write it on here. I'm going to type a Word document really quick, just to remind myself. Tips on learning Christmas carols. So there, I'll add it to the master list later on. Randy says, thanks, Tim. Good session tonight. Thank you very much, Randy. I agree. I thought we all, I don't know how much you learned, but I think it went pretty well. We got Sean here. I'm playing a year and a half, and I can play a couple of pieces by Chopin and also a lot by Bach and a little Scarlatti. That's really good for a year and a half in. That's probably a lot further than I was a year and a half in. But to be fair, I started playing when I was 6 years old. So a year and a half in, I was only 7.5. So I probably was not playing Chopin. I can guarantee you I was not playing Chopin. Or probably even Bach. I was probably playing like Itsy Bitsy Spider or something. The first recital I ever did was This Old Man. And then it was like, you learn a lot of songs as kids that like aren't real pieces. I don't know. They're like pieces written for kids. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Thank you. That was very informative. Thank you very much, Gene. I'm glad you liked it. You're very welcome. Fireflower says, true, it takes a lot of work, but if you push through, you can achieve your goals. I agree. You might not be able to become like an Olympic skier or everything you want, but you can at least achieve success in your own way, I always find. And actually, if you keep going like that, like just trying to like, okay, I want to reach this little milestone and reach this little milestone, I do find that you can like really achieve the bigger things that way, for sure. Abigail says, hi, Tim. I'm here when you are about to close. That's okay. Sorry about that. It's not possible for me to be present due to helping a friend during that time. Good night, all. Well, that's all right, Abigail. Glad you could kind of come in here to listen for a minute. And luckily, the recording will be provided for you as well. But glad to see you again, friend. You need to also to free more time if you want to get really good at playing a good level of playing. That's really true. Honestly, really good piano players, professional piano players, they practice 4 to 8 hours a day. I'm not even kidding. I don't have 4 to 8 hours. I'm sorry, guys, to practice that much. I practice 1 to 2 hours a day, maybe 3 if it's like, my students cancel or something and I just have more time. But most of the time it's 1 to 2 hours. Running Away piece by Turk has 2 treble clef. Can you explain this? Yeah, really quickly. All that means is that you're going to be playing your... usually what happens when they do that... Let me do this. Usually... There you go. Usually what happens when they do that is that you're going to have a right hand treble clef where the notes are really high. And then you're having your bass clef written in the treble clef. So you're still playing treble clef notes. You're just playing them with your left hand up kind of where your right hand would be. So the purpose behind the double treble clef, where it's both clefs, is that you have notes really high up with both hands. And to write notes this high up on bass clef would require a lot of ledger lines. So to avoid doing that, they just write 2 treble clefs. I should probably make a lesson on that as well, like exactly explaining that in detail. Fortunately, right now we're running a little bit short on time, but that's generally what you want to look for. Karen says, almost 2 a.m., going to say goodnight. That's perfectly understandable, Karen. Good night, Tim. Good night, Karen. Thanks for checking out our live stream earlier that I didn't tell anybody about. It was kind of a surprise. I'd sent an email before, but maybe it went to spam. Let me check that out, Abigail. It's possible. Sometimes they do get sent to spam. Sometimes it's an error on my part, especially recently. Recently I'm doing better, to be honest. When I first moved, I was really kind of overwhelmed with things, so I don't think I was thinking like 100%, but I'm doing better now, so I'll look for your email for sure. Thanks for the great lesson, says Adria. You're very welcome. It's my problem, free time. Yeah, hard to manage everything going on for sure. Maria says, Tim, I have a question. I always play inventions and all Bach pieces with both hands from the beginning. Is it better to practice Bach's pieces 2 hands separately? Yes. It's not a problem that you're learning it. Let me get back up to me first, or like the chat here. It's not a problem that you're learning it hands together. In fact, you want to get in the practice of learning pieces hands together right away because you'll be able to learn them faster. But what I would do is I would learn maybe an invention hands together and then go back and actually play it hands separate. Because what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to really concentrate in on each hand. That's going to make sure your fingering technique is good, because your attention won't be divided then between both hands. So you're going to be able to really like look like, okay, like, do I have the correct fingering going on? Am I playing the staccatos right? Am I playing everything in the right rhythm? So yeah, at your level, from what you told me, learn them hands together, and then go through and then practice them hands separate a few times to pick out, to try to bring out a lot of the smaller details into the music. Because like I mentioned earlier in the lesson, music is obviously a lot more than just playing the right notes. It's, you know, obviously playing the right rhythms as well, but also the articulations, the dynamics, everything, the proper fingering going on. So you want to go through hands separate and with kind of like a fine-tooth comb strategy with hands separate after that. Fireflower has been playing Assassin's Creed. Has been taking some time as well. Guys, I made a discovery this week. I played this game called Undertale, and the game is pretty good. It's pretty amazing, actually. But the music in the game is like the best music I've ever heard in my life. Undertale, look it up. I'm going to give you guys a link, even though it's like not even my channel. I don't even care because it's so good. It's so good. Let me do this. Let me guys get you a soundtrack for Undertale. Oh, OST. Here we go. Perfect. All right, let me link you guys to this because this stuff is fire. Meaning it's really good. Such a good soundtrack. Honestly, like, put it on while you're working and stuff. It has like a really, really good mix of like emotional, like light music, and then like really awesome, like upbeat. It's just so good. So good. Barbara says, some days I practice 15 minutes. At least I got that instead of nothing. That's true. That's true. So that's like your micro practice sessions that we've been talking about. Abigail says, I tried Super Chat, but it's not working. Okay, so I'm going to have to look into that for you. Yeah, sometimes the Super Chat is really weird. Like, people are just not able to leave a Super Chat for whatever reason. Fireflower already knows about Undertale. Undertale music is awesome. I actually have it on my Spotify list. Sean here says you can play, let's say, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours at night. It's really good practice. Actually, that's a lot better than playing 6 hours all at once. Because I know me, like, if I practice for 6 hours all at once, I'm going to be dizzy after that. All right, everybody. Let me just kind of look quick to make sure I don't. Adria, check out the link I posted right above Fireflower. Undertale is a video game that I was playing, and the music is just like unbelievably awesome. Like, I started actually learning these pieces. I mentioned that in a live stream I did earlier today. But yeah, Undertale is a video game. Check out the link I posted right above Fireflower, or search it up on Google. And it's so good. So good. Yeah, the story is really good too. The music is just like blew me. The music makes the game, honestly. Like the story's good. I hate to be trailing off like on a totally different subject, but you know, you learn something about me too. I like video games. The story of the game's good. The graphics are really, really simple, like kind of like old 8-bit style, but kind of modernized. But the story is really good of the game. The sense of humor is amazing. Like, it's just so good. Like, the writing in the game is really good, but the music like really makes the game. Like, I feel like if it just had like mediocre music, it wouldn't be nearly as good of a game. It would be like a 6 out of 10 game rather than like a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 game. What chorus for a working horn player? To learn pop piano. Well, I don't have a course for that. That's interesting. You know what, David? I would come back on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make our Sunday live stream, what you want to do is wait for the recording of that to come out and then post that question in the comments of that video, because we're kind of closing up right now, and I feel that comment actually, or that question, is going to be really relevant to that video, because on Sunday we're talking about the common pop song chord patterns you should know as a piano player, and I think that question would be a great one to have a discussion about on Sunday. But like I said, if you can't attend, leave it in the comments of when I post that video, and then I will answer it there, because that way it keeps everything all in the same kind of topic area. After I talked about Undertale for 10 minutes. Yeah, Adria says I will have to look it up on YouTube. Yeah, look it up on you. Look up just the music. Just type in Undertale OST. That stands for original soundtrack, and it's so good. And just listen to it. It's amazing. Maria says, "Thank you, Tim. I will always run through new pieces by using both hands at the beginning to understand the whole figure." Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea, and that's a good practice to get into, because that will help you learn future pieces much faster. But go through afterwards and go through hands separate. I'll do the micro practices later after running through. Thank you. You're very welcome. Kind of cinematic, says Adria. Yeah, I would say that. It definitely has a cinematic kind of feel. It just has a great, like, all the characters are so awesome, like so funny and witty, and it's just so good. The music, though, just listen to the music, whether you're a gamer or not. I love the freaking music. Professional musicians get to practice while they work. I agree, Barbara. All right, let me do like a formal outro here. So when I piece the video together, it's a little bit, it makes a lot of sense. So here we go. What am I going to say? If you want to learn more about playing pieces with classical composers, of course you want to check out the playlist I have for you. I also want you to check out my two-handed piano training series that I just put out on YouTube a few weeks ago. We're in about lesson 4, lesson 5 right now as the recording of this video. Check that out as well. And of course you want to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we have more lessons coming out all the time. And of course you'll want to learn more about piano. So this has been your piano teacher, Tim, from Piano Lessons on the Web. Have a great one. I'm taking sheet music with me everywhere, almost to read, but that's just me. Awesome song. All right, everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. I had a lot of fun. Remember to go to pianolessonsontheweb.com if you want to check out my courses. Like I said, almost everybody who follows me over here on the YouTube channel loves my courses. I'm serious. In fact, I need to work on getting more reviews put out on the website. So if you've been taking courses from me, feel free to send me a review to put up, because it would be really helpful. But I'm going to come out with like a video soon, I think, talking more about that. All right, everybody, have a great one, and I'll talk to you on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.